Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about law school expenses. So if you are interested in today's video, then please keep on watching. Hi guys, my name is Isai, host lawyer, law school related videos, home life, and travel vlogs. In today's video, again, we are going to be talking about 5 law school expenses and we are going to classify them if they are needs or wants. So let's go ahead and get started. So the very first thing, of course, that you would have to pay for if you are planning to go to law school is the tuition fee. I am not that sure of the tuition fees nowadays. I recently interviewed Attorney Harvey Bilang, an Ateneo Law alumni. So I started to look into the tuition fee of Ateneo Law and UP Law. So for Ateneo Law, I computed kasi medyo na-confuse ako dun sa parang other fees nila dun sa website. The total amount that you would have to pay, assuming that you are going to pay for the tuition fee and you don't have a scholarship, the total amount without the other fees is around 567,007 pesos and 60 cents. So the basis of this amount is the one posted sa Ateneo Law basta online. I'll leave the link in the description box below. Next, we have UP Law. So I computed based again online on online resources of UP Diliman's website, and it's roughly around for the entire course ng law school is more or less again 271,974 pesos. So looking at this amount, I'm guessing that the tuition fee for law school would range around 300,000 pesos to 600,000 pesos. Depending on the school that you are going to apply for. So that's yung basis ko. I chose UP since and then Ateneo Law is one of the schools that's known for their higher tuition fees. So I think they are a good basis for the yung lowest, possibly the lowest amount you will pay for if you're planning to go to law school, and probably the highest amount that you would have to pay for tuition fees sa law school. Okay? When I was in law school, back when I was in law school in UST, I remember paying around 40 to 50,000 per semester. And then in Arellano, it's a little bit more expensive than UST Law. But it's also around that price for full load, maybe 40 to 50,000 pesos per full load. So, yun. The next thing that you would have to pay for that is also a need would be codals. For those who do not know, a codal is, so codals are tiny books, or these are books regarding codal provisions of the laws. So there is usually one codal or one book per branch of law, except for commercial law, because when I checked Rex Bookstore's website, there are actually 3 codals for commercial law, since there are a lot of commercial laws. For codals, they are around 600 to 700 pesos each codal, and you would have to get around 9 codals all in all. So that's 3 for commercial law and 1 for each other subject. So we have constitutional law, criminal law, so on and so forth. So yun. I would also be leaving the link of Rex Bookstore in the description box below. No, this is not sponsored, but I think Rex Bookstore and or Central Bookstore would be your go-to bookstores if you are planning to go to law school. Why is it a need? Yeah, basically it's your Bible when you are in law school. What I used to do with my codals, especially for civil law and my remedial law codals, yung rules of court, it's basically my life, because when I read textbooks, I usually write certain notes or the things that I know should be remembered regarding a provision on a post-it, and then I place it on my codal. So the first thing is actually things, parang ano siya, collection, but gadgets. Okay, so for gadgets, you have, for me, a tablet, a laptop, and your printer. Back in first year, I bought a tablet for constitutional law because there were a lot of cases that we had to read, and it was getting a little bit too expensive to keep on having cases photocopied. I asked my mom to buy me an iPad too. It's still working until now, actually. For the iPad or the tablet, I was able to use it for the entirety of my law school. For the iPad, I used it for reading cases. I used it for some ebooks that I had to read, for notes that I had to take. I used to take notes on my iPad using a Bluetooth keyboard back in law school, first few years of law school, but eventually I just used my iPad for reading. And then since it's easier to transcribe notes using a laptop, I use my laptop for that, and then I also use my laptop to compile cases. There are a lot more things that you can do with your laptop compared to the iPad before, because now the iPad Pro is basically a laptop already, right? But since my laptop was a little bit heavy, what I did was I always brought my tablet with me so that I would have the digital copy of the things that I would need for law school. The last thing under yung gadgets would be a printer. So again, what are you gonna use your printer for? If it is more effective for you to read cases like on a piece of paper, then I would highly suggest to get a printer. And also there are things that are better printed, and also some professors do not allow gadgets during class, so a printer is very handy. One tip, if you are looking for a printer, don't just look for the cheapest printer. So do not choose a printer based on the price of the printer, but how many pages each ink cartridge would print. So I hope you get what I mean. Some alternatives to the laptop and tablet. If you have watched my previous interview with Attorney Harvey Pilang, an Ateneo Law alumni, he shared before that he used to download the cases while he was at home, and then load them in his cell phone, and then read the cases while he is in transit going to school. So I'm sure most of us have our smartphones, and these smartphones are really powerful. So you can utilize it. You can save your cases in your smartphone instead of having a tablet or a laptop. So that's one alternative. Another alternative you can do is to go to school early. Most schools have internet connection and also personal computers in the library, so utilize that. You pay for that. So an alternative for buying a printer is, again, saving the documents on your phone, and or also you can utilize the piso prints or the 1 peso printing services in several areas. Another thing that is nice to have while in law school, again, I'm confused whether this is a need or a want, but textbooks. Textbooks are a little bit expensive. They are really, actually. If I remember correctly, these textbooks range from around 1,000 to 3,000 pesos. There are books that are really expensive. So yun, if you cannot buy yourselves these textbooks, annotated with cases, ganyan, you can always borrow from the library. Again, it's something you've paid for. But please, if you borrow from the library, be respectful to those who are going to use it next and to the institution, because some people, when I borrow some books from the library, some people actually highlight these textbooks that were borrowed from the library and write notes using pens and pencils. Guys, these books are not yours. Other people are gonna use it. So, respect lang din yung gamit ng ng school. These are not your books. Don't vandalize the books. And also, I highly, highly discourage people from buying book alikes because it is such a big disrespect to the authors. Some of these authors are actually your law school professors. So parang it's such a big disrespect since these authors actually spend so much of their time, their resources in creating these books unless they expressly give their consent to you. As a general rule, don't patronize book alikes, okay? That's illegal, okay? Last but not the least are applications and or subscriptions. So, yung subscriptions that I talking about is either CDA siya. What I was using before when I was in law school was Iskra. So, Iskra is the electronic version of the SCRA or the Supreme Court Reports annotated version of the cases. What I like about SCRA or Iskra cases is that, of course, they have their syllabus before the case itself. So, you have an idea of the topics that are discussed in that case or the topics covered in that case because sometimes you do not have enough time to read the case. So, at least with the syllabus before the case or the case's syllabus, meron kang idea of the principles of law discussed in that case. So, yes. Usually, Iskra is around, I think, 990 pesos per month. But what we used to do actually is to share it with friends. You can share the Iskra account with friends. What we used to do was we had a specific Facebook group for those who paid for that. And then if you are gonna use it, you're gonna tell people that, okay, I'm gonna use it. And then you tell them also when you have logged out so that other people can use it because account can only be accessed at a time. Let's say I'm using the account, so my other friend cannot use the account while I'm using it. So if you want to save a little money, that's, I think, a good idea that you can do. Spending a lot on whatever does not necessarily make it the best. But what matters or what is most important is what you do with what you have and being resourceful with it. Yes. Okay, so that's it for today's video. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found this video helpful. If it was, do give it a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And I will be seeing you again soon. TTYL. Bye!